Rob?
Yep. All right. So I'm going to take you to where your foot comes down. I'm going to take Donaldson to where his foot comes down. Okay? So good things are happening. Shoulders are closed. Hips are starting to open. Okay? The one thing that you had talked about was being able to stride straight. So notice when you go to stride, if I would want, like, what would help you get your stride to be where it needs to be, where you don't ever have to think about it, is if you have some sort of move in. So I'm not saying a leg kick, but when his knee turns away and he shows the catcher or the pitcher his butt, his knee is internally rotating. So if you just went from this position and brought your knee this way, okay, like to the plate and slightly turned away, your stride would be in the same spot every time. You wouldn't have to worry about that. You know how to get out. I really liked what you said is when my stride gets out, everything just comes together. I would totally agree with that. So it's just about bringing it to the plate before it goes out. Okay, so we see Donaldson. You don't have to have a huge leg kick like that, but we see that happen. So he's getting his hips loaded. Yours would look more like this. So you'd just be bringing your knee into this position before it strides out. So I don't have any problem with how you start. I also don't really have any problem with your upper half. Okay, we're noticing one thing here in how his barrel is tipped up as his foot comes down. So the fact that your bat flattens out by the time your foot comes down is something that we're going to try to clean up a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be a huge deal yet. Like, it wouldn't be unreasonable to tell you that this might take a year for you to get closer to what Donaldson's doing. And that's if you work hard at it. Okay, so this is a hard thing for kids to, this is super common. I see this all the time. Okay, so it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take knowing what to do and then practicing the right thing. Okay, so in general, you just need to understand how much the hips move before the shoulders and hands move. Okay, so before his hands really have gone anywhere, his hips are nearly all the way open. Okay, it doesn't help that you're wearing black. So this is total side note. It does help if you wear brighter colors for video, as silly as that sounds. But what you can see is your back elbow's coming ahead of your hip. Notice how his hips go first.
Yeah.
Okay, so his hands never get behind his back elbow, where yours are.
Yeah.
Okay? So the first thing we need to understand is we just need to identify what we do. We don't need to think critical and say, oh, I suck. Because to be honest with you, you hit the ball pretty darn hard today. Okay? So when we step, we see that the bat is super flat by the time your foot comes down. It's pretty typical of high level hitters to have a more vertical path when they come down. Okay? From this point, it's just knowing that your hips go first and your upper half follows. When you said back hip to the ball?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So it's getting that left leg to be in a position that looks a little bit more like this before it goes forward. And then once we go to swing, once that heel slams down, once that front foot comes down, we have to know that our upper half follows our hips. Right there, that right elbow is coming in front. This is super common. I talk about this daily. Okay, so don't think that you're bad or anything like that, because it's just, this is a typical process that we have to go through. Okay.